It's the When Fishing Podcast. Applying techniques.
Then I put the C rigs on the A rigs.
Bringing fresh ideas.
They can't all be good ones.
Talking stories. Reports.
Pull about 5 knots out of the wind.
Conservation.
You're probably too close.
All to make you and I better fishermen. Howdy. Welcome to another episode. I got plenty for you, I think, possibly. And if you need any further satiating, then there's lots of resources out there for you. But this is one. This is one good one. This is a quality resource for you. So let's get into it. I've gone 7 times in the last 9 days fishing. Are you proud of me? I'm proud of me. All thanks to resetting my sleep schedule to actually wake up before 11, which is really good and normal and things. I recommend it if you're into fishing. So the first one, picking up where I left off from last week, Saturday, I went surf fishing locally. Just brought the sea rig. I thought the swell would be down. That's what happened. Swell was kind of up the previous 2 days, but it was like heading down, like the swell was dropping like a foot per day. And so it's supposed to be like 2 foot at 12 seconds or something like that. And I wouldn't say that it was. There was, I mean, maybe, I don't know. I'm kind of relearning stuff regarding surf fishing and what I should be reading and how I should be calibrating and all these things. And so that's actually, it's a fun little process where I'm to be calibrating to something new and really getting into it. So that's exciting, right? So it was not, I didn't feel like it was 2 foot at 12. Perhaps it was. So I'm judging the break here. That's what I'm judging. So the break was really, I guess, yeah, there were 1 to 2 foot sets, and then there were like 4 foot sets, 5 foot sets. And I believe it's been solid downhill current all week, not excluding Saturday. This was also the partial solar eclipse that day, so that's the thing. I did not get anything that day. I'm looking at my notes. I brought my ultralight rod, hoping that the swell would actually be down and I would actually be able to throw like 1/4 ounce or 3/8 ounce or something. And I did, and I got away with it. But I really felt like it was more of like a 1/2 ounce to 3/4 ounce kind of day, throwing gulp sandworms. So yeah, I think I'm learning that the Windy app or swell forecasts. I knew this before, and I just wanted to be lazy and just think that things had changed, in that reality had changed for my benefit. But the swell forecast isn't the wave forecast. So that's a thing, especially around HB. I've noticed this week some really nice breaks. Like today, I'll get into it. But today I saw like 8 foot faces on swells, and it's like, I know the ground swell is like it's like a long period and like 4 foot or something like that. But there was like seeing the surfers, like could have fit 2 surfers on the side of the swell. I'm like, what the fuck? What the hell? But yeah, so getting back to Saturday, I'd call it about 10 bites, 10 microbites. So there were fish, we'll say that. Fished from 7 to 9 a.m. and got out of there right before the partial solar eclipse. I saw a dude with this little contraption where he was like wakeboarding, but there was a rope that was like anchored, or there was like a motor that was anchored in the sand that that retrieved the rope that he was holding on to as if it were like a wakeboarding setup on a boat. And so he just like dragged out the rope and the handle, and then like he had like a remote control, and then he pressed the button, and then he would just go flying like along the swell by just pulling on being pulled by the rope. that was being retrieved by the motor. Does that make sense to you? But yeah, I talked to the guy who was like next to the motor thing. And he was like, yes, he's building it himself. It is proprietary technology. So it was interesting. So watch out for that. Um, yeah. So that was not the best fishing day. And then the surfers were out big time. Like 7 a.m. it was fishable, but there were definitely quite a few. And then by 9 a.m. it was just like any water that was fishable was covered in surfers. So I was like, all right, whatever, fuck it. That's why you don't fish on weekends. Um, if you're paranoid about going out when everybody would be out, you're not paranoid. You are being realistic. So the next day, I hit a local pond lake thing with Tommy from Sharkbait. Shout out. And I was looking for my first green sunfish, and went a looking and started with a micro jig under a float, and then switched over to a number 14 hook with a red worm, and hopped around from spot to spot. The hot spot landed me 5 keychain green bass, like literally 3 to 4.5 inches or something like that. And then Tommy was able to get one, maybe like 6-inch bass on a mouse tail or something like that. Good times were had by all, but no green sunfish were had by any. Uh, Monday, slept in. I said I was gonna go halibut hunting in the boat, and I was just I was pooped from waking up early on Sunday morning. I don't think I slept much. I think I went to bed late on Saturday night. You don't need to know all this shit. But anyway, I slept in on Monday. Normal day. Tuesday, I fished the beach. Different area, whole new area. Good trough for a quarter mile. Uh, Pretty big outside break, attracting a lot of surfers, but keeping them well outside of casting range, which was nice. They were probably like 100 yards out, and we're casting about 50 yards or whatever. So that's nice. Strong downhill current. I think Tommy and I got a fish each. He was using a grub, I was using gulp. Bunch of micro bites all over. So there was life out there, but but the ones to be hooked were elusive. Wednesday did not fish. Thursday took the boat out. Went over towards the Newport coast. Don't really fish there often. Went past the pipeline. I fished around the hard bottom. I wanted to see what was around the hard bottom over there. I know it exists. I know there's no real specific spots. There's a couple. I'm sure there are more if you really look. Um, I I saw a couple marks here and there that were like, all right, let's just put a marker there and just see if that's like consistent over the course of the season or the year or whatever. Whenever I happen to pass by it. Anyways, slow trolling, 3-way rigs, 12 ounces, and one had a LC Flash Minnow 130. The other had a swim bait, 5-inch big hammer swim bait. What was that one? Calico Hunter Special or something? It's the one with the glitter. Um, Went over one spot where I might have seen white sea bass. I'm not sure though, but it looked like it on the meter. Fat, red, undulating um, marks. And I've been told that the air bladders are reflect a lot of your what do you want to call it? Your sonar. It reflects a lot of the noise back. So it's particularly like dense, and then they're also long enough that they'll worm instead of just being like a little straight line, or maybe a little end bend like bass might show up to be. They have they'll come out to be like an S or more, depending on your quality. But I didn't catch any, but they were just like kind of stacked in one spot, and I was like, okay, that's interesting. I didn't spend too much time on them. wasn't really. I didn't want to get my hopes up or whatever. I just saw it. And went, okay, that's. I thought it was bass at first, but then I looked back. I took a picture of it and looked back, and it's like that's pretty interesting. I wonder if there's squid out here. I feel like I've been seeing squid boats out of along PCH at night. I may be wrong. I don't know. Maybe it's lobsters, but it looks like they're kind of deep out there, and I don't think people go for lobsters in 100 feet. Do they? Email me. Tell me. I think they only go out like 50 foot for lobsters, right? Is that a thing? I don't know much about lobsters. I don't really care. There's too much drama. The equipment takes up a lot of space. I don't really want to go out on a boat at night if I don't have to. And I don't eat bugs anymore. I'm not in elementary school. So, no, I don't mind them. They're good. They can be good. So, as far as the halibut fishing, getting back to that, covered several miles, slow trolling around. Oh, also, it was fucking foggy. On my way over there, I was like, I don't know if this is smart, but I'm gonna do it anyway, so I'm all set up. And then I got out there, and it was like 300 yards of visibility. I'm going like I was going about 12 knots out on the way out, and that's not a terribly dangerous speed in the fog. If you ask me, I think that's the right speed to go. Whether other people abide by that philosophy is another question. That is the risk. Didn't run into anybody that day. So, but when I got back, I talked to somebody who said that the police boat was waiting at the mouth of the harbor, and they turned them away. They wouldn't let them leave the harbor because it was too foggy, and they were like you can't trust your GPS when it's this and when it's this foggy. And so like we're not gonna let you out. And I don't know if that's legal to do that. If you can just say, hey, fuck you, like as a policeman, like you're not allowed to take your boat out when it's just like I think they can only advise it, right? I don't know. So I don't know. That was weird. But the guy had a broken, not a broken, but like kind of heavy Vietnamese accent. So I wonder if arguing with law enforcement was just too much investment for like the rhetoric was a little too much to deal with or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, that was at 9 a.m. They didn't let him out at 9 a.m. So I missed that by about an hour and a half or something like that. So yeah, back to the halibut again. Covered a lot of water. Saw a bunch of stray marks. Not a bunch, just a few. Every 100 yards or so, I'd see some kind of mark. Not a whole lot of bait. I hooked up to one thing on the swim bait, and it came off about halfway up. It felt small, felt like a dink sand bass or something, but it was in like a totally isolated spot where I don't remember seeing a mark, so I kind of wonder what else it could have been. Maybe it was a sarcastic fringe head, or maybe it was a halibut. Who knows? But I will never know. So yeah, I went all the way into like within, probably got to about 200, 300 yards off the beach in Newport, and then I started loading up on seagrass on my line, so I turned it around and got back into a little deeper water and fished the contour of the Newport Canyon, and there was some bait balls around there, but no real signs of game fish. There were a couple stray marks on the bottom here and there. No bites. Went back further out, checked on that potential white sea bass school again. As I was around there, I hooked bottom, and I was like, God damn it, on the swim bait rod. Then I started reeling up the flash minnow rod, and as I did that, I pulled up that got caught on the bottom, and I was like, oh no, I'm gonna lose my flash minnow. And then it came off, and I was like, oh yay, hey, there's something on, double yay. Brought it up. It was like a 15, 16-inch fantail sole, which is pretty cool. Like the first one I caught like earlier this year was like 10 inches or something like that. So I didn't know they got that big, and I almost kept it. Then I decided to take mercy. So, yeah, then I started heading back, and then I checked a couple spots that were not much, and I didn't have much on them, and then I went home, and that was a nice enough day. I kind of knew that hard bottom area, just like fishing all that like random like hard bottom, I felt like I was more likely to catch like a motley crew kind of fish, a motley, what's the kind of an oddball fish, and I did. So that's interesting, right? So yeah, and then to conclude the reports, I went this morning with Tommy. 0700 0900, almost on the dot, and I caught. We worked about what, almost half mile total of beach, and enough micro biters, and I ended up with 3 fish, 4 inches, 8 inches, and 12 inches. So a nice crew of fish there, all on gulp, and then he caught one on the grub, and there were 3 other fishermen out there. I don't know exactly how well they did. I know at least one of them got more than unskunked. Most economical way to put it. And still lots of surfers, but not so bad. They really like just hopping into the water right next to fishermen, I've noticed around here. As I'm really trying to dial in the surf fishing, it's like the commonality of every day is like there will be at least 3 surfers who will just like just buzz past my shoulder as they like run down the beach and into the water, and it's like, oh, like it happens so much that like if it happened once every now and then, I would think it'd just be like, one idiot asshole like surfer who just like is just a piece of shit. I don't know. It's like, just think the worst of them. And then but it happens like multiple times a day every day, so I'm like, all right, like these guys, if they think they're cool with me like that, I'll be cool with them like that. And if you get hooked, like, I hope you laugh about it, because it's pretty dumb what you're doing. I don't know what world you live in, so like, whatever. So I don't know. I don't surf. I would think in my mind, I don't know, since I've never surfed, the thing I consider is like, okay, well, why are they jumping in where I am? I would think that it's because I'm fishing a hole, and so maybe if there's a hole, they're seeing that there's a rip there, and if there's a rip, it would be easier to get out potentially, because like the current will like push you out. That's what rip currents do, right? That's what the lifeguards don't want you to get caught in, but a surfer like wants to stay out there, so you get sucked out, so it'd be easier for them to get out. Right. And so that's what I assume. But then it's also like, are you guys being picky at all about what wave you're catching? Like, are you studying the shape of the wave, like up and down the beach, and going, yes, it's like breaking, you know, um, the way the beach is shaped, or like the way this particular part of the beach is shaped, it's breaking left to right, um, and there's a good open face for like 100 yards. So let's jump on that because that's a really nice long break that I can stay on. Or as opposed to like this spot where it's like it all kind of falls over at the same time, and so you only get like a few seconds riding it before it just kind of turns to white water. I don't think anybody here gives a shit, or at least once I see. I think they just see water and they're like, but I don't mean to shit on any one person, just the ones that are jumping in front of me, and they deserve to get a little shit, you know. Hopefully they can laugh at themselves. If not, then we can talk about it. I can bring them on the podcast and we can have an argument. But yeah, that's that. I gotta reload on a couple leaders. I got a reload on 30-pound leader, so I'm doing that. I'm going with the P-Line Fluoro Clear. That's treated me well all year. Just went through 250 yards of that this year, so I'll get another 250 yards. I like that stuff. Budget, $12 for 250 yards. Lasts all year as a leader material. It's fluorocarbon coated, so I don't know if that's like perfect, if it's actually comparable or any improvement over mono, but I like it. I've been using a 10-pound fluoro red label cigar, also cheap filler spool stuff. I think that's like $12 for 200 yards. And I've been using the 10-pound fluoro leader for surf fishing as of late, just because I am so sick of the leader getting like tangled up around the sinker. If like the surf pushes it around just a little bit too much, you end up with that. If you're using like 6-pound test, like the minute I switched over to 6-pound test for a leader, every third cast I was like undoing a little sinker tangle, and at some point that chafes the line enough that it compromises the strength, and then you lose your fish, and you go, I don't know what happened, and I don't want to be that guy. So I switched back over to 10-pound fluoro. I kind of wonder if it's worth getting 6-pound fluoro, like finding some stiffer 6-pound fluoro that would be, because I would like to go lighter, but I just want it to be stiff. That's all. Is that too much to ask? Feed it some Cialis, but yeah. So I'm just sticking with 10, and I'm getting bit with the gulp at least. Am I not catching my Corbina, my Lifer Corbina, because I'm using 10-pound fluoro instead of 6-pound or 4-pound or whatever the fuck? Possibly. So I don't know. We'll figure it out. But right now that's working out for perch and croakers, yellowfin croakers. I wonder if it'll work for the spotfin croakers. I think it will. I think people use like 10, 12, 15-pound tests for spotfin croakers, and they don't really give a shit. But those beans, if you want to get a ticket to Beantown, you gotta bring the light line. So see how that pans out. I do have 4-pound Invis X, Siguar Invis X. The thing I don't like about Invis X is the spool that it comes on. It doesn't really have a tag end holder, you know. So like there's the line is just hanging off. Like you either gotta like put a rubber band over the spool, or else the line is just gonna slowly like get fucking everywhere, and then you're gonna waste line, because then like, it's sitting in your car or whatever, and it's rolling around, and now there's like 12 feet of 4-pound, and it's chafing against the sides of your car, and it's hanging out all over everything, and it's ruining itself, and then you're wasting line, and you gotta cut it and feed it to sea turtles. So not about that around here. So I would like to get rid of that 4-pound, or at least find a rubber band, I suppose. All right. The game plan. What's the game plan? I'm thinking I have ideas for every day this week. And I've fished enough this past week. I fished 5 times this past week, which is a lot better than usual. So I actually have faith that I'll perform most of these trips, but also know that I won't do at least a couple. So, this is what I would do throughout the week. This is the proper design of the game plan section, by just saying what I would do on any given hour of the week. So here goes. Saturday, Sunday. I don't really like it looks a little, I always feel like a pussy every time I say that. Like, well, it's looking a little sporty or whatever, and it's like, 3.5 foot at 7 seconds. And for as far as boating goes, it's like I don't really want to deal with that. And I'm sure other people will be like, "Oh, I've been in 6 foot at 8, and I don't give a shit." And it's just like, all right, have fun. I don't want to do that. It doesn't sound fun. So it doesn't. It looks a little bit sporty. Put an asterisk next to it for this weekend. So I'm not. I don't really want to deal with it. There's like moderate winds throughout the week, so I'm keeping that in mind. Not a lot of good boating days. So if I do go boating, I'm thinking that I'm gonna go behind the break wall looking for halibut. We'll see. But Saturday, Sunday, I'm thinking freshwater, looking for that green sunfish. There's going to be a little bit of a windstorm on Monday, I think. Let's take a double check. But I wrote, yeah, it's Monday. Like midday Monday, it's going to be a little bit of a cold front, a little bit of a low, what is it, low pressure when it dips down. I'm no expert, despite my webinaring. Yeah, midday Monday, it's going to be kind of windy. Barometer's going to drop from 29.8 to 29.7. So there's that. So I was thinking that that doesn't sound pleasant. I don't want to fish that day. Then it's like, you know what? I always think that that would be the time to fish for stripers. I've never caught a striper in saltwater or in the river systems of Orange County. I've only caught a couple on one day in Piru, I believe. Was that Piru? Yeah. And but I always tend to think when it gets a little bit snotty that the stripers will come out. So I don't know if that's true or not, but it's something that I romanticize. And so come Saturday, Sunday night, I think would be the start of that, where in some areas the barometric pressure does drop a little bit, and into Monday, and so after the Dolphins game, I'm definitely gonna watch Sunday night football, Dolphins versus Eagles. Go Dolphins! Let's claim this shit. After that, I would consider a quick little trip to like a river mouth or something, throwing an LC. It's going to be a little bit windy, but hopefully I'm on the right side of the wind so I can throw it and not have it not come back at me or whatever the fuck. So kind of striper kind of weather, like Sunday night through Monday. That's kind of what I'm thinking. It continues to be sporty weather until about Wednesday. Tuesday, I am thinking about going behind the break wall. I think what is it? Well, why did I write that down? Is the tide decent? I think there is. Tuesday. Yeah, 7:20 high tide. So pretty much when I'm launching with the sunrise, it'll be peak high tide, and then there'll still be a little bit of current moving around for the rest of the morning. And hunt down some halibut during that period. That could be decent potential. It's like blowing at about 5 knots all morning, so it's not going to be flat, but it won't be terrible. And behind the break wall, it'll be perfectly manageable. And then Wednesday through I've got this in groups a little bit. Wednesday through Saturday, there's some good lunch low tides, for me at least, like 2 to 4 p.m. It's going to be dropping. By Friday, it'll be a negative low tide. So I think that'd be a good time to explore some of the like super empty troughs and sand structures that have been made as of late, and see if there are any corbina. Looking around for some stray sand crabs or some stray clams or some stray ghost shrimp. Are you excited about that? And then there are going to be like some early sunrise high tides from Thursday to Sunday that I kind of like. When I say early sunrise high tides, I'm talking like you'll be able to fish the incoming just a wee bit, like maybe an hour or two. It'll be like a high tide at like 8 to 9 a.m. It'll be a nice high tide, and then the moon is gonna set This is conspiracy that I would cite from what's his name? Who's the guy over at Castake who catches nonstop chonks? What's his name? Butch Brown. Shout out. He likes the idea of big fish coming out when the moon goes down, when the moon is not in the sky. So during these, the moon will be setting. It's a full moon or close to it. It's going to be setting at like 4, 5, 6 a.m. So then you're set up with a high tide and a moon set. Maybe some big halibut will come around. Maybe some big strappers will come around. You catch my drift? So there's some ideas that I like. It is still going to be a little bit sporty all the way to Thursday, Friday. Then it's going to be super glassy, right? Wednesday it's going to clean up. Still going to be a little windy. Consistent wind through Wednesday. Kind of windy in the morning on Thursday. Nice on Friday. Normal afternoon winds. Below average afternoon winds even. But real nice swell for those few days. So boating would be nice. So maybe I go boat twice in the week, or maybe I just go Friday, or maybe I just stay on land for Thursday, Friday. I don't know. I'll tell you what I do on the next episode. Have a nice weekend.